The story of the dinosaurs ended 65 million years ago, and since then they were lost to the course of our planet. The largest creatures to ever exist would remain hidden deep under the earth until humanity discovered their story, and this is the story I will tell. In 1676, the first dinosaur discovery was thought to be described. Dr. Robert Plot happenstanced upon a large bone. At the time, he believed it to be the femur of a giant human, citing the reference of giants in the Bible. Many written texts throughout early human history refer to large bones, but with their knowledge they believed them to belong to dragons and other mythical creatures. Up until the modern era, this was the conventional thought, as many religious texts and cultures placed the Earth being a maximum of 6,000 years old. Therefore, it was difficult for these cultures to explain these bones. It would be another century and a half until these bones would be given a name and linked to their rightful owners. In the early to mid-19th century, Western Europe and mainly Great Britain was the home of the dinosaur revolution. By 1842, the world had its first three dinosaurs: Megalosaurus, Iguanodon, and Hylaeosaurus. Richard Owen used these three genera and their shared unique anatomical features to group them together under a shared name, Dinosauria, anointing the first time paleontologists had made this link. The name Dinosauria is rooted in Greek and quotes as the famous terrible lizard. However, Owen references it to describe fearfully great reptiles, acknowledging the stature of these three dinosaurs. On the first dinosaurs to be named, Richard Owen acknowledged the vertebrae at the base of the spine had fused together during the animal's lifetimes, and this began an age of dinosaur discovery. The term Dinosauria, however, was not safe. In 1888, paleontologist Harry Seeley published a paper denouncing Dinosauria and proposing two groups, the Ornithischians and the Saurischians. Neither Owen nor Seeley knew both groups had common ancestors in the early Triassic. Nonetheless, the divisions proposed are useful in paleontology. Dinosauria also had a new dawn during the Dinosaur Renaissance, and Owen's Dinosauria lives on in academic circles and popular mainstream culture. Owen and the natural history artist Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins would be the first to show the public their findings. In 1854, the world's first full-scale reconstruction of dinosaurs was opened. The Crystal Palace dinosaurs may look entirely wrong to the modern eye, but at the time they were as accurate as possible. Highlighting the importance of paleo art, these displays bring the extinct to life and create an image much clearer than a pile of bones. The sculptures depict the first three dinosaurs discovered, aforementioned earlier, and as you can see, much inspiration was taken from modern-day lizards like the iguana and the monitor lizard. We have to remember these models were also based on very little fossil remains at the time. Today the models have been relocated about 15 kilometers away to Sydenham and have captured plenty of people's imagination through their long history. From relocating 15 kilometers, the dinosaur story was about to cross the ocean, where it was only going to get bigger. America's Great Dinosaur Rush was fueled by the westward expansion at the time and with help from the Transcontinental Railroad. The more common name used, however, was the Bone Wars. Starting in 1872, both Edward Drinker Cope and Othniel Charles Marsh competed to discover as many species of dinosaur as possible, together naming over 136 new species. Marsh naming iconic dinosaurs such as Diplodocus, Allosaurus and Stegosaurus, and Cope with lesser known species like Dimetrodon and Elasmosaurus. On several occasions, both published papers trying to hijack others' findings. If it wasn't for Marsh and his team, famous names like Stegosaurus and Triceratops would have become the household name of... yeah, I don't feel like trying to pronounce those. Charged by competition, they worked tirelessly, making great contributions to science, but in turn ruining themselves, socially and financially, due to constant thievery, bribery and trickery in the pursuit of their legacy. Over the pond back in Europe, big discoveries were being made on the continent. The second dinosaur to be discovered, the Iguanodon, was about to have a new lease of life. Up to March 1878, there had been no complete skeletons of Iguanodon found, but in the next 3 years, 30 skeletons would be found in a Belgian coal mine, 322 metres deep. Contrary to the Crystal Palace Iguanodon, the general consensus from science at the time was that they were bipedal, thus were constructed in that image and how they believed the living giant would stand. It has now become widely accepted that the Crystal Palace Iguanodon, despite its inaccuracies, got the fact that this dinosaur predominantly walked on all fours correct. The Iguanodon is a perfect example of the changes in perspective the dinosaurs have seen over almost 2 centuries and the advancements of science. Around this time, links were beginning to form between birds and dinosaurs. Although it would still be a century till this theory was mainstream and given its credence, a mysterious fossil of the Archaeopteryx was found in Germany. It presented features like feathers, yet had teeth, a bony tail, and limbs. The feathers were more like feathers seen on birds, flat with a quill down the centre, unlike feathers seen for warmth. It is a heavily debated topic. Some believe Archaeopteryx and closely related species had the ability of flight, whereas others believe it glided between the branches of Germany's prehistoric forests. Nevertheless, the living descendants of the dinosaurs are modern birds, and with the help of further discoveries and science, this is conclusive. The first half of the 20th century was an interesting time for humanity, but I wanted to show the large advances in paleontology and broader biology, which helped in the evolution of our perspective on dinosaurs. These developments led to the dinosaurs being revisited, and in the late 1960s began what was to be called the Dinosaur Renaissance. This constructed our modern view and the popular culture of the dinosaurs. The Renaissance was led by John Ostrom and Robert Bakker, who helped transform our views of these reptiles. As we know, up to this point, the dinosaurs were modelled from modern-day reptiles, as seen in art and scientific thought up until this time. But in 1968, Robert Bakker's paper, The Superiority of Dinosaurs, argued dinosaurs were warm-blooded and active creatures, in contrast to popular thought being cold-blooded and lazy. Also, he believed they had sophisticated social behaviour, which would later be proven by fossils showing they cared for their young and moved in structured herds. John Ostrom, on the other hand, made it universally accepted that the birds evolved from dinosaurs. He believed and argued this case due to the discovery of a small carnivore similar to Velociraptor called Deinonychus, where it exhibited features in its skeleton resembling birds. This began a movement away from art exhibiting features of reptiles and appear more like mammals and birds, which in turn gave dinosaurs and their newfound active nature a more intriguing view to people, and grew their interest of one of the most deadly animals ever to live. This, however, was also up to debate. How could these animals, so superior to any predator on Earth today, go extinct? At this time, the Chicxulub crater was not discovered. However, due to chemical irregularities in the Earth's crust, it was suggested that an impact event could have caused an extinction event. It took many years of slow progress, but by 2010, 41 experts concluded the impact triggered the extinction which caused the end of the non-avian dinosaurs. That gave us our answer of how the dinosaurs died out. The Dinosaur Renaissance in some terms is still ongoing. Throughout this period the search has gone global, expanding to every continent on Earth. Important discoveries are being made to this day, with a closer link to birds, with more dinosaurs exhibiting feathers and colours, as well as shrink-wrapped dinosaurs of the past being fleshed out. Modern film and TV play an ever-increasing part in the public's perception of the dinosaurs, however still exhibit inaccuracies like almost all paleo art. The first dinosaur was discovered about 200 years ago, and through the evolution of science and paleontology, our view has changed drastically. Dinosaurs will live on, and the future may lead us again in another strange direction, in the pursuit of the truth about the prehistoric inhabitants of our planet. This has been OnUs, and thank you for watching.